Well, okay. I think,
but would that be healthy? Is that a healthy choice?
you know, healthy choices are things that make people compulsively do things with food. That look, we're an animal. Animals eat. I don't know. Do you have a pet?
Not anymore.
Okay. Have you ever watched your pet eat? I mean, I have a cat, and my cat eats what she wants and leaves the rest. You know?
That's cats. Dogs, I don't think, do the same.
I think some dogs do too. I mean, animals do. Animals eat to their hunger and they stop eating. We're the only species that compulsively overeat and compulsively throw up and compulsively starve ourselves to death. It's kind of amazing to me. We're the only species that do that.
We are a very unique species in many ways.
Yeah.
But being that as it may, if I came to you, you wouldn't recommend, you don't have any kind of dietary menu recommendations?
No, I don't, and they're not with bulimics. You know, we're talking about bulimics, and the reason why I don't is because bulimics believe that food is bad, and if they're obsessing and binging about, you know, binging on food, it's bad, and you know, and what we want to do when we're working with bulimics is to make them understand that food is not a bad thing, because food has become the enemy to them. So food has to become a friend. It has to become a nourishment. It has to become something that sustains them. It can't be something that's an enemy. So when I'm setting up, this is healthy, this isn't healthy, because they already have their belief systems.
That is all unhealthy, right?
Yeah, no, they have their belief systems that this is healthy and this is not healthy, and if I eat this, I'm unhealthy, and then of course I can't stop eating this. Because when you think of food as bad, you can't stop eating it. Most people who have disordered eating issues cannot stop eating the foods they think are bad.
That must be a self-destructive.
Yes, it is. It's an addiction.
So that's why you treat the whole person, right?
That's why you have to treat the whole person. So
okay. Now, getting back to the, you know, you're a dietitian,
right?
And you've got to think that some food is. I know that you in your treatment.
No, what
I
believe is overeating is bad.
And you don't believe that some foods like green beans, Fritos.
Okay.
Okay.
But then if I have green beans and Fritos, and all I can do is eat the Fritos, where am I at?
Well, wait a minute. You can eat either one. They're both here.
Okay.
But as a dietitian, don't you recommend some kind of, no?
No.
It's just, you just treat the disorder, right?
I treat the disorder when I'm working with eating disorders, when I'm working with compulsive overeaters. I really work on allowing them to accept food as a nourishing, nurturing thing.
So you have to get really down to basics with your clients,
don't you? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have this guy, and men are fun because they're always making up rules. I have rules for this and rules for this, and rules of eating and rules. And I have one guy who just really is this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. Why can't I stop eating the bad food? Well, because you think it's bad. Psychologically, if you think something is bad and you have a craving for it, or you have a disordered compulsion, obsession, compulsion for it, you're going to eat it.
I agree with the thing. Never deny your cravings.
Right.
You can't deny your cravings.
Right.
But don't overdo your cravings.
Well, but then what is that? Don't overdo your cravings. Well, people who have disordered eating overdo their cravings.
Right.
They do.
I want to address this thing right now.
Okay.
The lap band.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I have known one person to use a lap band, and I've seen no change in their weight problem.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so
yes.
How do you feel about that? Let's talk about that.
Well, here's the deal. I in my practice, I get a lot of lap band dropouts.
Do you? Do they actually get it removed, or they leave it there?
Well, you know, whether they get it removed or leave it there, what it is
doesn't seem to be effective, does it?
No. And have you seen the commercials, or have you seen the billboards? There's this picture of this guy eating this gross huge sandwich dripping like the, like the commercials with the dripping sandwich, which gross me out, and they're meant for under 25 guys. Anyway, they are. And it says, diets suck. It really says that.
Yes.
Lap bands work, or something like that. And it's like, no, that's not the message we want to give. When you're dealing with
that is an extreme method to deal with an eating disorder, isn't it? To go in and put
I think when you've got people who are severely overweight, a couple 100 pounds overweight, it might be appropriate because you want to set them down some kind of good path and you want them to feel success. Because it's really, really, really tough when you're trying to get lighter my way and you're not getting any success.
And you're 200 pounds away from your goal. That's really...
And you have severe obsessive compulsive disorders, which is what eating disorders are. And you can't stop eating food, and you just keep eating food, and it just, it becomes an issue. And no matter what we try, because I've got many, many, many tricks up my sleeve to help people deal with compulsive overeating, it just doesn't. So for people who are severely overweight, it might be a really good idea to start them down the path. But I've met so many people who have figured out how to get around it. In other words, they eat like 20 small meals a day. Because, what it does is it makes the stomach smaller, so you literally can't eat too much, or else you'll... So,
So you have a lot of lap band dropouts, right?
Yeah, I do. And they'll come and they'll be 300 pounds and they'll go, I can't understand why I'm not losing weight. And I'll say, it's because you haven't dealt with the little kid who's in there wanting to eat 20 cookies.
Let's talk about the childhood obesity.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
The incidence is becoming greater and greater in our society. As I was saying, I've read that 1 in 5 these days is actually obese. Well, how do we define obesity anyway?
Obesity is actually, there is a equation for ideal body weight. It's 100 pounds for women and 5 pounds for every pound over 5 feet. So I'm a 5'5" woman, so my ideal body weight would be 125 plus or minus 10% either way.
So then an obese person would
an overweight person is anything over that 10% margin.
Okay.
So in other words, it's anything over like 138 pounds for someone like me. So between 10% and 20%, that's considered overweight. Over 120% of that is considered obese.
Okay.
So that's the technical way of doing it. For men, it's 106 pounds plus 6 pounds for every inch over 5 feet.
So when you're treating the childhood obesity,
yeah.
Do they have the same kind of psychological compulsions?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. I've worked with eating disordered kids and even boys, because eating disorders is on the rise in men too. I work with kids as young as like 8.
Are you saying eating disorders on the rise in men? Were you saying that it was more prevalent in women?
It's much more prevalent in women. Still.
Okay.
Okay.
And do you think that it might have something to do with the way that women are constantly very appearance conscious
yes.
and have to be
and
maintain that slender schoolgirl figure?
Sure. They're objectified. Still. I'm a 60s kid. I burned my bra. Women are still objectified in our culture. It's very sad.
Okay, so anyway, back to the children.
Back to the kids.
Back to the children. You say that they have the psychological disorders as well.
Yeah.
And do you find that it is, come on, let's face it, Jill. When you're a kid, you can't go to the store. You can't,
Well, no, and
you have to eat what's at the house.
Well, really, eating behavior